this question that has come twice. Now we'll start with Hamartia. This was also one of the main topics in the Aristotle's tragedy, but and it was also given by Aristotle in his uh, theory of tragedy. Now, before starting with Hamartia, we have to just look at who is the tragic hero. Like it is explained before also. I'll just recap that a tragic hero, according to Aristotle, he should be a character who is mostly a protagonist. Most of the time, it is the protagonist who is the tragic hero, and in Shakespeare tragedies, it is the protagonist only and no other person. And why a tragic hero is a protagonist, that I'll also discuss. So, according to Aristotle, a protagonist or a tragic hero should have exemplary qualities. Exemplary qualities, that is, he should be brave, he should be courageous, and that he should earn the sympathy of the audience. He should win their hearts, but he should have error of judgment, which leads them to the unfortunate destiny, that is the tragic flaw, that is their own downfall. And this downfall, according to Aristotle, because it is their own failure, it is their own flaw which lead them to their downfall, and Aristotle says or mention it as hamartia. So hamartia is the tragic falling or failing, the error of judgment to identify what is good or what is bad, or what is important and what should not be there, and on which it should be focused. So it makes in this character is of noble birth and is at a very high esteemed position, and his downfall make the audience think that if such a person can meet this type of destiny, if such a person can be betrayed by his destiny, then what type of destiny is would they have, what will happen to them? So his downfall will inspire a fear in the audience. And what is that fear? That if such a man of noble birth could meet such an end, so they are no left behind. So the tragic hero should be someone having this type of significant stature, but at the same time should have weakness in his character, and these weaknesses are reason for his downfall or destruction, and that is to come about in the end. So he cannot be completely good or perfect also. Then how, because if he is completely good, then how can his fate could happen? If he is completely good, he will not commit any fault, he will not commit any mistake, so he will not be having any tragic flaw, so he will not be considered as tragic hero, he will be considered as superhero then. So his downfall is responsible because of his own fault. And another term that the sorry and what he is thinking, that he is, if he is not committing any mistake, if he is doing everything right, everything just in a justice, in a very mannered way, he will not meet any a tragic end, so nobody will sympathize towards him, and he will be not considered even the protagonist also. So that is the basic qualities that Aristotle has mentioned about the tragic hero. Now, what is, how is a term of this term hamartia originated from? It is mostly this term is mostly associated with Greek tragedies, and this word is from the Greek dictionary, and it was first used by Aristotle in his Poetics, and it meant from the word hamartian, which was in Aristotle Poetics, and it also means to miss the mark or to err, that is to make a mistake, to make an error, and to be very faulty. So it has nothing to do with virtues or morals. So it is totally opposite of virtue of morals. If even if a person is doing moral duties, is very virtuous, then also he could commit some error, commit a mistake to meet his tragic flaw, in case of tragic hero. So, what is the definition of hamartia now? The hamartia is a fatal law which leads to the downfall of the tragic hero. So, it is a flaw, it's a very, very small flaw, in fact, which helps in the contribution of the character to grow, to shape his character. The tragic hero, his character is shaped by this flaw because it adds to one quality of his character. But this flaw, it will lead to the final destruction, and therefore, and that destruction is very fatal also. So it's also sometimes called fatal flaw, a very dangerous flaw, which will completely ruin his life, will completely bring a downfall of his character. So by Aristotle definition, it is a result by any character. It is the general definition which he has given, that it can be a result by any character, and the character is ignorant because he is doing it unknowingly, he is not doing it consciously. Though it can be any character, but the major focus is on the protagonist. So therefore it is the tragic flaw because it leads to the downfall of the protagonist, and who is at such a high esteem position and is ignorant about his actions, which lead him to the downfall. Now, in his introduction to S.H. Butcher translation of Poetics, Francis Ferguson describes hamartia as the inner quality of initiates. And in Dante's words, it's a movement of spirit with the protagonist to commit actions which drive the plot towards its tragic end. So hamartia is like a cart on which the plot moves towards the tragic end, and for its smooth movement there should be a flaw. So the smooth movement of the plot happens only when there is a flaw in the tragic hero, and that leads to hamartia. Now, what are the reasons behind hamartia? Why this happened? What are the causes, or what are the situations which lead to this tragic flaw? The first is the misunderstanding. Like Othello has regarded his wife, has great regard for his wife, which made him kill her. And what was that regard? He thought that his wife was betraying him. And also, he was a short tempered character. But the moment he kills his wife, just a few minutes later, he realizes his mistake, and then he kills himself also out of agony, grief, and repentance. So, this was a minor flaw. Many of us are short tempered, isn't it? Many of us make mistakes when it comes to the decision making. But in the play, this leads to misunderstanding by Othello, which finally leads to his death. Now, the circumstances. So, hamartia can be circumstantial also. Like Hamlet, when he returned, he found the circumstances in such a tangled way that he could think of only taking revenge of his father's death. So, this was the minor flaw which his nobility could not look beyond, and it led to so many deaths that we are all familiar with. Now, there could be error of judgment which leads to hamartia, like our famous Dr. Faustus. So, being a man of supreme knowledge, could not figure out between right and wrong, and fell to the prey of Lucifer to sell his soul. So he was such a learned person, but his error of judgment made him not to think, not to distinguish between his right and wrong, and thus his minor flaw led him to death and dishonor, for practice of necromancy. So because he wanted to, he wishes for the ultimate power, and he sold his soul in the hands of Lucifer just for to enjoy the life blissfully. Now is the ignorance and hubris. Now, first, let me tell you what is hubris. Hubris is just the self pride or arrogance, or you can say self confidence. This minor flaw is also very important because hubris sometimes lead to transgressing, that is doing things beyond borders. And ignorance is, as you all know, ignorance is the lack of knowledge, and it also leads to some injustice. Like in Pride and Prejudice, Elizabeth and Darcy are both hampered by their pride and their prejudice towards each other. So that led to their fatal end, you all know. And in Oedipus Rex, Oedipus' pride causes him to ignore the prophecies of the gods, and he ends up causing a blunder, a big mistake, that is marrying his own mother. Now, a very familiar example is the Adam and Eve, who, because of their ignorance, disobeyed God and made their tragedy. So, till date, we are suffering because of the flaw that is done by Adam and Eve of not listening to God, not going by his words, and ignoring him, disobeying him. So, now what are the functions of Hamartia? Hamartia has the main function, that is, it identifies the quality of a tragic hero. That is, it is through Hamartia tragic fall that the qualities of a tragic hero are highlighted. His esteemed position, his noble birth, his chivalry, and also his minor flaws are highlighted. And all his noble birth and chivalry are of no use and will not stop him from meeting his tragic end. Pity and fear, like in catharsis, it is the most important element. So when the audience sees the protagonist had a fall, a downfall, he has the feeling of pity, no doubt. But had the hero been a common man, could this feeling be aroused? No, never. So it is therefore must that the hero should be at a very esteemed position and from a noble birth. Only then the audience will have the feeling of fear and will be made to think that if such a person could meet such a destiny after being so powerful and strong and courageous, how could they think themselves to be safe? So this is the most important element, the element of pity and fear, that is Aristotle has reflected in his definition of tragedy also. So this pity and fear is the cart which leads Hamartia and catharsis and to the downfall and to the this revival of human beings. Now is the moral purpose. So Hamartia has a moral purpose also. And what is that moral purpose? That by the concept of Hamartia, a great importance is given on morality, on values and qualities of the protagonist are highlighted. So all the virtues come to limelight, and also all the flaws, the minor flaw are reflected, which the audience could revert or could could not follow and be on the safer side. Now the examples of Hamartia, most of the Shakespeare's tragedies, they are a mirror of Aristotle's theory of tragedy. Now the Oedipus Rex, it is the, you can say, ancient Greek drama. It is based on Aristotle's tragedy. Othello, Hamlet, Macbeth, and Julius Caesar. All these four are from Shakespeare's collections, and these are the good examples, a very well example of Aristotle's tragedy. And you know that Othello and Hamlet, they have been have adaptations in our Hindi movies also. Othello has the Omkara is the adaptation of Othello, and Heather is the adaptation of Hamlet. So these tragedies are still among us, and we are still feeling the feeling of catharsis by watching these films. Now, this we can say that in these tragedies, the character is noble indeed, but it is not without defects. So, and it has led to their downfall. Then is our Dr. Faustus, and then is the movie Devdas, or adaptation of a novel written by Sharat Chandra Chattopadhyay. Now, Hamlet, we can see in Hamlet, there was a flaw that Hamlet was indecisiveness, or his inability to get himself to act to avenge his father's death. So, his famous soliloquy, to be or not to be, that is the flaw considered in Hamlet, which led to his downfall. In Macbeth, the Hamartia or tragic flaw is his voracious ambition, which leads him to kill Duncan and to spur the throne and become a tyrant. So, with his flaw was his ambitious set of mind, which led to his downfall. Now, Caesar's Hamartia and Julius Caesar was his pride, his arrogance, and his individual quest for power. But Brutus' tragic flaw was his nobility, his trust, and inability to judge the wrong people. And because of his nobility, and because he does all his deeds for the good of Rome, he met a tragic end. Now, Othello, I have discussed that his minor flaw was his short-temperedness and his extreme jealousy. So it was out of jealousy that enabled him to be tricked and allowed by his this courtier. He made him to meet his own downfall by killing his own wife because of jealousy. So, in all Shakespeare's tragedy, the basic concept that follows is that in Act 1, there's the exposition of the character is done. That is, the correct characters are introduced. And in Act 2, the plot moves along the rising meter, the story enhances, and the character grow and develop. In Act 3, there's the turning point that appears in the story, and the story takes a deep downturn. All the circumstances happen to tumble up and lead the protagonist to his downfall, or the Hamartia. The one who is at the top is turned down, and vice versa. So there, anything could happen in Act 3, and it is the most crucial part of Shakespeare's tragedies. In Act 4, it is the falling action. That is where the protagonist, because of his ignorance, performs the action leading him to destruction and downfall. So it is in Act 4 that the tragic flaw is done. Though the tragic flaw started appearing in Act 3, but the highlight of this flaw is in Act 4, where that flaw leads him to destruction and his downfall. And in Act 5, it's the resolution part where repentance and grief are highlighted. So after the flaw is done, the protagonist feels repentance and is in grief, and sometimes commits suicide and is led to death. So all Shakespeare wrote his tragedies in accordance with Aristotle's tragic laws. Now, and the Oedipus the king, Here, how can we forget it? It is a famous classical Greek tragedy where, in case of Oedipus, his inertia is unintended wrongdoings. In fact, it is his hubris, or we can say that as Oedipus displays excessive pride, hastiness, and anger, and his ultimate downfall comes with a series of unfortunate misjudgments that are made as he continuously aims to do the right thing. So he was ignorant of what he was doing. So that's why he killed his father and married his mother, and it was all because of his hubris. And now, what about our Dr. Faustus? As I discussed earlier, Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe is a good example of Hamartia, because it was his choice to sell his soul because out of his ambition and greed, and that led to his eventual downfall. So accordingly, Dr. Faustus, I think, fits very aptly in Aristotle's tragic heroes of this tragedy. So the character must be of a noble birth. So all the characters that we have seen, they are of a noble birth, and they finally met their downfall. Now I will just take an example from the novel written by Sharat Chandra Chattopadhyay in Bengali. It was written, and it is the Aristotle Devdas in this novel is the Aristotelian tragic hero of Indian literature, and it is a beautiful blend of Hamartia and catharsis both. So here the protagonist had a fall from the higher platform. So he's a drunken man and finally meet death through a renowned and though being a renowned lawyer, he could not think of what he is doing, of his ignorance, of his impulsive nature. So his inertia was his impulsive nature, anger, and pride, lack of courage, unable to tell his family that he wants to marry the person he loved. So this novel was highly accepted, and a number of adaptations into the cinema world is made of it from 1928 to 2018. It first started with the silent movie directed by Naresh Mitra, then by P.C. Barua in Bengali, Hindi, and Assamese. In 1955 by Bimal Roy in Hindi, and the most popular one by Sanjay Leela Bansali in 2002. So now at present a number of web series also came, and in Pakistani and Bangladeshi cinema also they have tried hands on it. I have highlighted this mainly because of one reason, that apart from English literature, Hamartia is very well seen in our Indian literature also. Though the adaptation of Othello in Omkara and Hamlet in Hyder is there, but they are the adaptation of Shakespearean's play. So the originality is done by Sharat Chandra Chattopadhyay in his famous novel Devdas. So these examples clearly highlight the fall of the protagonist because of his own error, and also the protagonist is of a noble birth. Now, to conclude, we can say that Hamartia could be a flaw, a minor flaw in the life of a protagonist which leads to his downfall. His failing in the sense of not judging what is right, what is wrong, failing to understand the wickedness of his nearby who are just erasing temptations in him. Now the error also is there, which the error of judging between the right and wrong, and finally it leads to the tragedy, the tragic downfall of the protagonist or the hero of the play. So these are the previous. This is the previous question that has come twice. I hope I have tried to make it clear. Thank you for listening.